Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a turtle. I'll be crocheting it with a plain shell like this, but you could add some flowers like this one if you'd like. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, this large one, the size is 9 centimeters wide by 15 centimeters or 3.5 inches wide by 6 inches. This medium turtle, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 5 centimeters wide by 10 centimeters or 2 inches wide by 4 inches. These small turtles, crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, are 4 centimeters wide by 7.5 centimeters or 1.5 inches wide by 3 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton, so the size will be a bit smaller than this one. I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll be using Catona cotton. I've got 212 sage green, 244 spruce, 404 English tea and 110 black. I've got a 2.5mm crochet hook for the main parts and a 2.25mm crochet hook for the neatening rows. I've got scissors, a darning needle to weave in the ends, and I've got cream and black cotton and a needle to embroider on the markings. Now I'll be starting on the shell here. I've got my 212, the sage green, and we start with 16 chain. Now to give it the shape, the curved shape, we're going to work 3 different stitches. Now we're going to miss the first chain and we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 chain. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet we put the hook into the stitch, the second chain from the hook, and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops. And then we work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 chain as well. Now we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 chain. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next chain and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take your hook with the yarn at the end through the 3 loops. And we need 1 half double crochet into each of the next 2 chain as well. And then we work 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 chain. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. For a double crochet we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next chain and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 chain as well. And then we work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 chain. And 1 single crochet into each of the last 3 chain. And that's row 1 done. It's got a curved bottom. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn, We're going to work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. So we put our hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, and hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. We've got 3 loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then we work 1 single crochet into each stitch until we have 2 stitches left. I have 2 stitches left. We work a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 3 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Then 1 half double crochet into each of the following 2 stitches. One double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. That's a treble using UK terms. One half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. One single crochet into the following stitch, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. And that's the shell done except for the neatening row. For the neatening row we start with 1 chain, and we're going to work 1 or 2 single crochet in each stitch around. So just find a suitable place not too far from the edge to put your hook and work 1 or 2 single crochet in each stitch. In these corner stitches work 2 single crochet. It will just give it a nicer bend. And if your work starts to bend back, work 2 single crochet into a stitch. If you find your neatening row difficult to work, use a finer hook. and then just slip stitch in the top of your first stitch and fasten off. And that's the shell part done. Now we have some edgings around our shell. We're going to join our 244, the spruce, in the corner of row 1. So that's the opposite corner from the tail I've left. So just join in this stitch here, just at the corner, maybe this next stitch down. And work 1 chain, and we're going to work 1 or 2 single crochet in each stitch down the sides and around to this corner here, this stitch here, but not along the top. So just 1 or 2 single crochet. We'll need 2 single crochet in the corner, and if your work starts to bend back a bit. So I'll work 2 in this corner here, and I'll work 2 in this corner. And just work up until it's even with the top. So that stitch there. So that's the edging of the shell done. We fasten off. Now I'll weave in those ends and I'll be back with the English tea and we'll work the next one and then we'll work an edging of black. Now for the next section I've got my 404, the English tea, and we join to the first stitch of the spruce. So just in the top there, and we start with 1 chain and work 1 single crochet in each stitch of the spruce. If you do need 2 in a corner, that's fine. I'm just going to be working over the tail, just so I've got a little bit less to weave in the ends for. Just pull it to make sure it's fine there. And I will work an extra one in there. and then fasten off. And that's the second row done. Now we're just going to work an edging. I've got my 110, the black, and I'm going to join in the outside loop only of the English T. This is the inside loop and this is the outside loop. So just join in there. Work one chain, and now we're going to work a slip stitch in each stitch around in the outside loop only, and work them a bit loose. So for a slip stitch, put your hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. So hook into the stitch, the outside loop, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. And fairly loose, because we'll be working into the front of the slip stitches for the neck, but we'll be working into these loops left of the English T for the tummy part and this leg, this fin thing. So if we work a little bit loosely, it's a bit easier to get into those loops. And once we get to the end of the row, we fasten off. Now I'll weave in these ends, and then I'll be back with my English T, and we'll work a tummy part that goes up under the fin and the neck and head. Now for the tummy, we join the 404, the English T, 11 stitches along from the back, but in the loop of the English T. So this is 11 stitches back, so I go into this loop here, and we're going to be working into these English T loops. We start with one chain and we work one single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then we're going to work one single crochet into each of the next 3 loops. Then one half double crochet into each of the following 2 loops, and then one double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. You may need to work 2 into a stitch going round a corner, and count that as 2 stitches. so 7 stitches. And then we're going to work 1 treble in each remaining stitch. A treble is a double treble using UK terms. For a treble we put the yarn around the hook twice, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, and yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. So 1 treble in each remaining stitch. I'm going to work 2 treble in that stitch, and then just up round the side. And then fasten off. And that's the tummy part done. Now for this front leg, I've got my 244, the spruce, and we start with a magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I just put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook, and then the long end over the short end to make a circle. Then yarn around the hook and bring my hook with the yarn at the end through the circle, and that's my magic loop. I work 3 chain and then 1 double crochet into the circle, and we pull the circle tight, so we just take hold of this tail and just ease it in. For row 2 we start with 3 chain and turn. We work 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet into our stitch. So 1 double crochet and 1 half double crochet into the stitch. For row 3 we start with 1 chain and turn, and we work 2 single crochet into each stitch. We'll have 4 stitches. For row 4 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the 3 remaining stitches. For row 5 we start with 1 chain and turn, and work 1 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches. For row 6 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches. For row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into our middle stitch, that's a treble using UK terms, 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 single crochet into the last stitch. And that's the fin unneatened. For the neatening row, we start with 1 chain quite tightly and just work 1 slip stitch in each stitch down to the point. And slip stitch in the point. And you could work 1 chain and slip stitch into the point again, or I like to work 2 chain and then slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch in that same stitch, and then work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around the rest of your piece. That just gives it more of a pointy tip. And then slip stitch into the chain at the beginning and fasten off. And that's the fin done. For this head and neck part, I've got my 212, the sage green, and we're going to join in the outside loop of the black 7 stitches back from the front. So just in here. And it's easier if you bend the tummy piece back and work 1 chain. We're going to just be working into the outside loop of the black. We work 1 single crochet into the same stitch as the join, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. And then work 6 chain. For row 2, we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. and then 1 single crochet in each of the 7 stitches. For row 3, we turn our work and work 1 slip stitch in each of the first 3 stitches. One half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And then 1 double crochet in each stitch to the last stitch. Work 2 double crochet in the last stitch. Then work 3 chain and then slip stitch down in the bottom of the last stitch and fasten off. And that's the head and neck part done. When you're weaving in the ends, you could push that down in a bit and weave in a bit there, or you can push it in a bit to make it have a bit of a puffy neck when you're stitching it down. Now for the head, I've got my 244, the spruce, and we start with a magic loop. We work 2 chain and work 2 half double crochet into the circle. And then pull the circle tight. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 6, we turn, we slip stitch in the first stitch and work 1 double crochet in that same stitch, the first stitch, and then slip stitch in the last stitch. And that's the head unneat, and for the neatening row, just do 1 chain quite tightly and work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around your work. Now for the point, you could work 1 slip stitch, 1 chain and 1 slip stitch. and then slip stitch in the chain and fasten off. And that's the head done. The end of row 1 is the front part where we'll put the eye. Now for this back leg, I've got my 244 the spruce, and we're going to join 6 stitches from the back of our shell, but in the English T, so just in here. And I'm going to leave a long tail at the beginning to use for my neatening row. It depends what weight yarn you're using as to how much you leave. I rather leave too much rather than too little. We work 1 chain and work 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. We're still working into the English T at the back, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 4 stitches. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and 1 single crochet in the last stitch. For row 6, we start with 2 chain and turn. We're going to work a joined half double crochet and double crochet over the 2 stitches. So put the yarn around the hook, hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, then yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops, and then we fasten off. And for the neatening row, just bring up a loop of the spruce from the tail you left, and we're just going to work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around, but work your end the same as you worked the other fin. So I'll work the rest of this off camera. And there's the back leg done. Next we do this little fin there. I've got my 244 the spruce again, and we start with the magic loop and work 3 chain. We work 3 double crochet into our circle, and then pull the circle tight. For row 2, we start with 1 chain. Now we're not going to turn, we're going to work down the last double crochet. We're going to work 3 single crochet down the side of the double crochet. So just in there. For row 3 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. For row 4 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 single crochet into the last stitch. And then for the neatening row we work 1 chain quite tightly and just work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around. And then just join in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. Now that's all the pieces worked. I'll just weave in the rest of the ends and I'll be back and we'll put it together. Now there's the pieces. I've got the turtle, the front fin, the far front fin and the head. The first things I'll do is embroider these markings on the edge of the shell. Now I just do lines down from the spruce to the black edging quite evenly, and then I'll do a line along the top of the spruce and between the spruce and the English tea. And I'll also stitch down the neck and the head. You may have to push it up a bit and just bulk it in a bit like that, so it still shows a bit of the English tea, but it gives a good finish to your neck. Next we work the eye on the head, just about there, and then we work all these markings on the head and the 3 fins. I will have a photo close up on my website of the markings. You wouldn't have to add them if you didn't want to. Now there's the markings on. The last thing I do is attach the head to the neck part. Just in there I attach the front fin and the far front fin just in there. So I'll attach them and I'll be back to show you the finished turtle. Now you could add some flowers. I added 7 to this one. Now there's the finished turtle. The size is 7 centimetres wide by 11.5 centimetres, or 2.5 inches wide by 4.5 inches. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Patreon. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns and the details of my Facebook group. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.